time since 2018 that a varsity fixture here at Sandy Park has been live streamed, and we're delighted to bring it to you this evening. My name's Harry Scott Monroe and I'm joined by EURFC and BUCS Super Rugby royalty, Harry Bazalgette. Baz, great to have you with me, and thanks for driving all the way up from Penzance. It's going to be a great one tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, can't wait. Like you say, it's been a while. It doesn't feel like too long ago since I was here, but really excited for it. Can't wait to see these boys ripping.
Talking about a while ago since you were here, you played that most recent varsity against Loughborough in 2019, that famous game against Beckham with that conversion in the corner there. Yeah. There's some great memories in this ground for you.
Yeah, unbelievable. I messaged one of the lads today, Alec, who's starting at 10, and I just said enjoy every second of it because they don't get better than varsity days, especially here at Sandy Park.
And for yourself, obviously moved on now into the realms of professional rugby, yourself and Joe Elderkin carving up at Cornish Pirates. Just talk to us a little bit about how that opportunity came and how much you're enjoying life down there.
Yeah, so it basically came from the cancellation of the BUCS Super Rugby season. So I was in my fourth year doing my Masters, and after Christmas they scrapped off the season, and that's when I was contacted by Gavin Cattle from Pirates, and just asked if I wasn't playing any rugby up here, if I fancy going down there. And that the rest is history really. Went there on a 2-week trial, loved every second of it, and snapped up the opportunity when it was offered me to stay there for a year.
Fantastic opportunity for yourself, and really taking that opportunity whenever you've had it in that 10 jersey as well. Just focusing on tonight a little bit, it's great track conditions, so much better than they were last week away at Northumbria. If you've not seen the highlights, check that out for one of the most wind-assisted line-out throws you will ever see. England Rugby got hold of that one and that went viral as well, so apologies to Chris Moore for that. It's a huge game here tonight. There's going to be a huge sellout crowd in that stand behind us in an hour or so as well. For the boys running out onto the field, what do you think they'll be feeling like as they start to arrive?
Well, I remember during the day you just don't really know what to do with yourself. It's quite rare, or at least for me at the time, that we didn't really have evening kickoffs, so you kind of got the whole day ahead of you. I imagine at this point they're overriding, I don't think they'll be nervous yet, I think the overriding emotion will just be excitement, and rightly so. It's a massive occasion, and I hope they all enjoy it as much as I do.
Talking about enjoying it, earlier this week I was really fortunate to be able to catch up with Dan John, but first, captain this evening, Ollie White. YC, obviously huge game this Wednesday, not just because it's against Loughborough, but varsity at Sandy Park as well. How excited are the lads for it?
Yeah, really excited. I mean, it's a massive honour when you look at the players that have come through RFC and the number of people and the calibre of the people that have worn that shirt at varsity. Yeah, so it's a massive honour and everyone's really excited to get out there.
And for yourself as well, obviously you were injured for the Anglo-Welsh clash against Met back last year. So for you personally, I suppose it's be a great opportunity to lead the side out as captain as well.
Yeah, it'd be really exciting. I remember I played this varsity 3 years ago now in my fresh year, and it was special then, and it's going to be even more special now to lead the boys out.
And obviously a sellout as well in the stands, fantastic uptake from students, fantastic work from everybody in terms of getting the tickets out. How important is that crowd going to be behind the team?
Yeah, it's really special being able to play in front of a full stand of all your friends and all your family. And yeah, the atmosphere is amazing. If you just look back at the last varsity, was just an incredible atmosphere, and it really spurred the boys on to win.
Just focusing on Loughborough a little bit then, we know what they bring, that physical edge. Obviously played them at theirs earlier in the season, suffered one of only 2 defeats. What have been the messages about what challenge they're going to pose?
Yeah, they're a real good side. They've got a real strong set piece and they're really good over the ball. So we're going to have to try and work to nullify those areas of their game. But I think the main focus has to be on ourselves, and we know what we need to fix within our game, and then we need to take the game to them.
And I suppose in terms of taking the game to them, it's also about keeping up that chase on Durham at the top. Yeah. Neither side giving an inch at the moment in terms of points. Loughborough at home, Hartpury at home, and then Met away to finish. 3 really tough clashes, but really important to get those points.
Yeah, we're just going to take one game at a time. This is the big one for this week, but we're just going to take every game at a time, and that's all we can do. And let Durham, they play their games, and we'll just play our games.
Dan, obviously just done final preparations, team runs out on the pitch before the big match. How's everyone feeling?
Oh, everyone's pretty excited. I mean, being out there in Sandy Park is definitely a different atmosphere, brings boys up another level, so hopefully they can bring that in the game as well as just what happened in training there.
Obviously you've played here a few times as well in a Chiefs jersey, but a first opportunity to run out in a uni jersey as well on Wednesday. How excited are you for that?
Yeah, really excited to play my first varsity. Like loads of players have played in this game, and it's really special, and hopefully I can contribute to a good win on Wednesday.
Just looking back last week then against Northumbria, obviously I know you didn't play in that one, but watching the footage it was a tough one with the wind. Obviously conditions going to be similar you'd expect on Wednesday as well, so how much has the focus been this week on just playing our game?
Definitely, the focus is always just to play our game. As long as we can control the controllables and bring how we can play, then it'll be straightforward. And as long as we keep our discipline and we get through our phases, we'll hopefully be strong.
Just focusing on the season as a whole then, obviously you've played for Chiefs this season, played a hatful of games for the uni as well, played across the back line, centre, wing, full-back. How pleased have you been with your own performances this season?
I think as long as the boys around me are playing pretty well, that helps me bring myself forward. Playing in the different positions just gives me another string to my bow, so I'm happy playing wherever, and the boys around me are definitely helping out with all our performances. Our backline's pretty sharp here, so I'm enjoying myself.
You talk about the boys around you, it's a really tight-knit group, not just the 23 that are in action tonight, but the whole club, and it's a huge occasion for everybody to be at Sandy Park this evening.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you can see how many boys have played in our BUCS team this year. There's been a broad number of boys who've played. Our strength and depth is probably one of our best things at this club, and yeah, fair play to all the boys who have contributed, and the boys who are putting on that jersey on Wednesday night need to prove that that's why they're wearing it.
And just looking at the season as a whole a little bit, then obviously some standout victories, some lows at the side have bounced back from really well. How would you assess how it's gone?
Well, probably one of the lows was losing to Loughborough away, so we owe them one here, so hopefully we can perform on Wednesday.
So it was great to hear from Dan and Ollie there, and Ollie talked about almost standing on the shoulders of those players that have come before, see the likes of yourself, Joe Elderkin, like we said, but then also Richard Capstick closing on 50 appearances for Chiefs now, Sam Maunder starting scrum half. So many talented players have come through this Exeter pathway, and we touched on Alec Lloyd-Seed earlier. There's so many brilliant players again in this squad as well.
Yeah, 100%. I just think it puts you in that shop window. People are really starting to take BUCS Super Rugby seriously, and you know, I'd probably consider myself like a late developer. I was never picked up by an academy or anything like that. University is becoming a new pathway, and I think it is a serious pathway that people should really consider.
We talk about that pathway, it's there for all to see. The conveyor belt at Exeter, so the amount of players that are playing BUCS Super Rugby and then transferring over into the club game or even the international game in the case of the likes of Chris Schinzer this season. Obviously it's not just BUCS Super Rugby where Exeter University are thriving. The women's first team last week were able to secure promotion back to the BUCS National Premier for the first time since relegation in 2020. And earlier this week we were able to catch up with Ruby Wilkinson and Matilda Torreseta to tell us a little bit more. Physicality, tenacity, teamwork. The words that symbolise women's rugby here in Exeter. After a hard pre-season, this has been a campaign to remember for the first team as they secured promotion back to the BUCS National Premier.
It's obviously the biggest and most obvious challenge, the fact that we just hadn't played in such a long time. And then because of COVID, it was like more than half of the team were making their debut in uni rugby, and we just didn't really know what to expect from playing at that level and playing against other universities and stuff. So it was really cool but scary and exciting.
First up for the side was a trip to Oxford. Any doubts about how they would perform were quickly washed away with a comprehensive 50-point victory. They then put nearly 100 points on the same outfit the following week in a stunning return to Topsham for the first time in nearly 18 months.
It was really cool, like I said, it was a long time coming because I came here in COVID year and I didn't get to play a single game, just a lot of training and stuff. And to actually pull the shirt on and actually do what I came here to do was really just amazing, such a great feeling.
Swansea and Cambridge were then dispatched, with EURFC's defence still yet to concede a point. Next up was a trip to the Arms Park. and a game against promotion rivals Cardiff.
As a team, I think playing at Cardiff Arms Park was amazing, and we had such a competitive and harder game than any of the others, so it was really exciting to play there.
Victories over Swansea and Cardiff again followed to round off 2021 in some style. Post-Christmas, 2 matches against Bristol and the return fixture against Cambridge were to follow, with Bristol providing Exeter with one of their toughest examinations yet in the final league match of the season at Coombe Dingle.
I think we just knew at the beginning of the season this is what we wanted, and we knew we could, and it was up to us to actually just do it. So we were so happy and so excited that it was also like a sense of relief, because we knew that we had every chance to do it, and we just had to do it, and we did it. So it was just great.
With the league title wrapped up, all eyes were now on the promotion playoff match against York. That promotion was secured in some style too, with a 74-0 victory.
Yeah, we were really pleased. We've been waiting for this for 3 years now since we got relegated, so we're really excited to finally get out there and get the win, play against York. I think obviously personally getting promoted is really important, because I was a part of the team that was relegated before, so getting promoted was really exciting for all of us that were relegated.
With strong performances from the second team, friendly matches for the third team and over 100 members in the club, both Ruby and Matilda were quick to point out just how important the whole club is to the performances on the pitch.
For the team, the fact that we got promoted and it was such a team effort, that we are equally strong just from 1 to 15, from 1 to 22, and that everyone put in such an immense impact into winning that game.
Yeah, I mean, like Tilda said, it's not from 1 to 15, but from 1 to 22, and even like the whole club, 100 members are just putting in 100% effort from the beginning of the season, so it's really exciting to finish like this.
Returning to the top of university rugby isn't something the side are going to simply settle for though, with further aspirations to progress.
Yeah, I mean, we're never stopping with our ambitions, so hopefully we will get the BUCS gold this year. But yeah, the promotion is really important to all of us.
With the team that we have and all the talent, I mean, we go into every game this season thinking that we're going to win, and I see no reason to change that at all. We want to prove that we deserve a spot in the league.
With the likes of Katie Buchanan scoring tries for fun, and Lizzie Hanlon, Nancy McGillivray, Jess Thomas and Maisie Allen all turning out for both the University and Exeter Chiefs this season, women's rugby here in Exeter is certainly on the rise.
I mean, yeah, it's been really important for people whose end goal is to be in Premiership rugby, but also with Rachel and Poppy, they work so hard, and them being players themselves, I think it really shows within themselves that they are really hard-working, and it brings out such hard-working members of the team.
It's fantastic to hear from Ruby and Matilda there, and it's brilliant to see women's rugby thriving here in Exeter under the tutelage of Poppy Leach. Focusing on tonight a little bit more and looking at tonight's visitors, Loughborough third in the league, had a little bit of a stumble a couple of weeks ago with defeat to Durham and a draw away at Cardiff, but right back on the winning track last week against Bath at home, and they've got a really settled squad. And Charlie Sitcombe at 10, second highest point scorer in the league, he's a player to really look out for tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially on big occasions like this or any close game, it's really important to have a 10, which you know in that half they'll knock it over. You can build yourself a score, or you never know, like an important moment, it can always come down to that last kick, small margins in games like this, so it'll be really important for that.
And we thought we were going to get it as well. We thought we were going to finally get that sibling rivalry on the pitch of Ollie Leatherbarrow for Exeter and Teddy Leatherbarrow for Loughborough. Ollie's been selected in the Scotland under-20s team this week, so he's unavailable, and Teddy coming back from injury as well, but captain for that Loughborough team. He's an absolute workhorse around the park, and he'll add so much when he gets on.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, it's such a shame. Obviously, massively proud of all, and class for him to be up there involved with Scotland. Yeah, that would have been good to see them go head to head.
And for the Exeter side as well, so you touched on it, you would see there's brilliant players all over the park. You look at that centre pairing of Tom Hitchcock and Dan John. You look at the front row, Chris Moore, hooker, signed for Munster, has been announced. That's a huge signing for himself, but also BUCS Super Rugby as a league. Who do you think will be the key players today for Exeter that are going to really determine what happens on that pitch behind us?
Sure. To single out a single person, I think it's quite tough. I think everyone will play their role. You said it's good conditions, it's quite breezy. So I'll be interested to see how the likes of Relts go on the wing, how they go aerially. I think that'll be really important. How it's managed by Will Yarnell and Alec Lloyd-Seed. Again, I think that'll have a massive impact. And as you say up front, you can't win a game if you haven't got a set piece. You haven't got that solidarity up front. So everyone's got their role to play today. I'm excited. It'll be a good game.
Should be a great game, and as if by magic, we are now going to cut up to the gantry where we'll run through the team news for you. Here we go then at Sandy Park, just a few minutes until kick-off here, an opportunity to run through the teams for you, starting with the Exeter University side. Keith Fleming has made 2 changes to his side from last week's victory up in the rain against Loughborough. Captain Ollie White returns an open side flanker, Cam Bullard dropping to the bench, and Dan John returns an outside centre for his first ever varsity. The Loughborough side today then, packed with experience, and Josh Lewis and Nathan Pope in the centres, the only 2 players in this side today to have played every single match this season for the visitors. Those 2 going up against Tom Hitchcock and Dan John really is going to be some clash in the opening exchanges. Baz, I can barely hear myself talk up here. I don't know if you're struggling to hear me, but it's some atmosphere below us, isn't it?
Yeah, crazy. We had some good days back when I was playing, but I've never seen Sandy Park this full for a varsity.
And just on the pitch then now, welcoming the teams, or getting ready to welcome the teams, I should say, is the Exeter Emeralds. Fantastic to have them here at Sandy Park, and a packed out grandstand below us. Varsity nights are back. They've never been better, they've never been bigger, and kick-off is just a few moments away. Baz, now at this point, teams have gone back into the changing room, going through those final preparations. Who would be the leaders right now in terms of giving those key messages out?
Yeah, so I think at this point, this is when the coaches kind of step back. It's more down to the leaders in the squad. So obviously your captain will be speaking, your game managers will be speaking, last bits of detail, and yeah, just getting your heads ready more than anything.
And for lots of these players as well, like we said, it'll be the first time they've played a varsity fixture. Running through that team quickly, Max Bliss at fullback, Dan John, as we said, Milo Hallam and Matt Cook in the second rows, Luke Rousford as well, all playing their first varsity fixtures here at Sandy Park. And you have to say, looking at that Exeter side, it's packed with experience, it's packed with talent, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the match up in front row tonight. Jacob Morris at Loosehead packing down against Jack Browntree, son of Graham, on the tight head for Loughborough. That first scrum, that first collision is going to be huge.
Yeah, like I touched on pre-match, any big performance starts up front, so yeah, awesome.
Looking down below us, you can see the crowd on their feet, getting ready to welcome the teams. Huge round of applause for the Exeter Emeralds. The benches as well then, we touched on it a little bit there. Loughborough, watch out for number 21, Teddy Leverbarrow, brother I should say rather, of Exeter University's Ollie, who's lining up for the Scotland under-20s this week. It's a 6-2 split on the bench for Loughborough. I was speaking to Scott Snedden earlier and he said, admittedly it was slightly forced by injury, but he's expecting a really physical, really tight battle up front today, and having that extra back row on the bench for him just gives them that extra option. It's an interesting call, Baz, but one that's going to be a really straight, we'll pause then now and just hear as Loughborough run out onto the field. The Exeter Emeralds are ready, and as they run out, second versus third in the league, both sides needing a victory here. Exeter know that a win tonight will guarantee them the top 2 in the league, and I'm just going to pause and hear the sound below as Ollie White leads the team out. officials then making their way out onto the field. Last minute huddle for the visitors. Exeter ready to go, crowd ready to go. And it's round 16 BUCS Super Rugby clash is almost ready to get underway. Alec Lloyd-Seed with the ball in his hands. Josh Barton's held that 10 shirt for large parts of this season, but both him and Lloyd-Seed have been pushing each other to new levels in terms of their attacking game. And Lloyd-Seed had extra kicking dimension tonight for Exeter as well, you'd expect. Yeah,
absolutely. As we touched on pre-game, kicking at goal can be the difference in the end. And I think that's why Alex picked up, he got the nod this week.
Here we go, they're underway from Lloyd-Seed. Great take there from Loughborough, just outside their 22. And Tom Miles then steadies himself and sets himself. White then puts the pressure on. And it's a first tester for Max Bliss. Superb take from the fullback. And Yarnell there quickly then. The ball goes out to Richardson. Hard carry from Richardson. He's stopped by Dan Ashworth. And there's Lloyd-Seed out to Hitchcock. Big, strong opening carry there from the inside centre. Chiefs just get, Exeter I should say, just get their lines a little bit wrong there, but they're still making ground. And there's Yarnell. And another strong carry there in the middle of the park for Exeter. Attacking with purpose, attacking with poise, looking out the back. Bliss again gets his hands on the ball. He's tackled well in the centre there by Loughborough. And Lloyd-Seed again sees a gap. And there's Jordan Bond. Jordan Bond breaks free. Superb tackle on the winger. He's still going, gets to ground.
We'll look to get to the edge now. Space there.
There is space, but Loughborough then almost get their hands to the ball. Referee hasn't seen a knock on there, and it's ball in Loughborough hands. A first opportunity, and there's Charlie Titcombe then. Boots that one up the field. That one got the crowd off their feet, and that's what Jordan Bond brings you as a winger. Bliss again sets off. He's looked lively, he's looked dangerous in these opening exchanges. Strong, hard carry again, but the ball is stripped in contact and Miles is off. He's seen space in behind and kicked through. Awkward bounce, taken well, and that's a penalty for Exeter. Player taken in the air, unfortunate. And time off, says the referee.
He's all right, he's back up on his feet.
Back up on his feet, but there's just a consultation then between the officials as to whether there's anything in that one.
Yeah, I think Exeter just need to settle now. Obviously being a big occasion, that was a pretty frantic start, a lot happened, a lot of ball in play. So hopefully this gives them an opportunity to settle down, get into their sets and hopefully get some possession inside the Loughborough half.
That's a good touch finder there from Lloyd-Seed. And Chris Moore then will have his first line out of the day. Huge day for Chris Moore as well, announced as a Munster player for next season once he graduates. And that's a fantastic first dart from him. Exeter again then looking to play this out the back. His space is John out to Relson. He's been electric all season. Tracked back well though by Dan Martin. Richardson with another carry from the prop. Loughborough look to get their hands over there, but it's okay, says the referee. Yarnell fizzes the ball out to Relson. That one though has gone into touch. Baz, you said about being frantic a little bit. Like you said, just calming down once you make those initial breaks so far for Exeter.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was the right option, going down that short side, just execution. It's hard on these big days when you're not used to playing in this sort of crowd. It really can get to you, like the adrenaline's high. These guys are right on the edge. So execution is going to be massive today.
Speaking of execution then, Loughborough look to play a set play in the middle of the park. That one's gone forwards, but it's come off an Exeter hand first, says the referee. And it will be a scrum for Loughborough, a slight let off there. An opportunity then to see both packs packed down for the first time this evening. We mentioned that front row battle in the pre-show. And after that frantic start, let's see what both sets of 8 do. Miles then puts in, controlled nicely at the back by Ben Smith. And there's Titcombe floating the ball wide, and there's space here for Loughborough. A good tackle there as Josh Lewis looked to release Nathan Pope, his captain, on the far side. And Loughborough with their first opportunity really in this match then for any sustained pressure with ball in hand. Still attacking, Titcombe again, takes the ball to the line. Almost managed to get his hands free. And Loughborough still building, still pressing, but Exeter are there. Tom Addison, I can see with that blue scrum cap. There's a clever little chip through there, and it's been picked up. And another chip through again from Ben Fitzgerald. And the kick's gone straight out, but it's a penalty against Exeter, blocking Fitzgerald as he went to kick the ball through, and a let off again for Loughborough after the kick. But discipline-wise for Exeter, it's just a silly penalty which doesn't really need to be given away at this stage in the game. Yeah, it was tough. On first view, it sort of looked like he stayed still and stood his ground, but the referee obviously disagrees. Unfortunately, that's a yellow card, which at this point in the match, that's a massive blow. Like you said early. That's disappointment there for Exeter. And it's Max Bliss below us, leaving the field for 10 minutes. Loughborough then just 10 metres out from the Exeter line. And Nathan Langdon then with the throw for the visitors. Solid first start from him, and Loughborough then look to get their maul going, look to start making metres. They're creeping in field, but they are starting to go forwards. Creeping sideways again now. Exeter trying to do all they can to stop this charge. And the crowd trying to roar Exeter on below us as well. Good work to stop that initial drive, but Loughborough then still have the ball. Flicked back by Josh Lewis. The ball finds the ground, but Loughborough still have possession, still have the ball. Ashworth again with the drive. Stopped again by Exeter. Dan Eckersley met with another huge, ferocious tackle by Exeter. Miles has to go digging for the ball. Smith gets his hands on the ball. He's looked lively in these opening minutes for Loughborough. David Douglas-Bridge looks to make metres for his side. Titcombe then out the back. That's Ben Fitzgerald who's stopped now. Exeter's defence really doing well so far to push Loughborough back, but Loughborough still crucially for them with the ball in hand. And back into the 22 now with that carry and a penalty as well. Not releasing.
Yeah, that's a shame. That was a good defensive set. Two massive shots from Chris Moore. We sort of stopped them in their tracks on this near side. I think they'll be quite frustrated with that. It's quite a cheap penalty in these areas.
And Loughborough then fancying themselves from the driving maul, put that one into the corner. And pressure again then on Nathan Langdon to make sure he gets his dart right here. Time off then, called by the referee temporarily. Just a quick note, if you were watching the game on Facebook today, unfortunately there have been some technical issues with the Facebook stream, but we're still going on the main YouTube stream. And time off here before the line out with a Loughborough player down, receiving a bit of treatment, an opportunity after what I have to say has been pretty non-stop opening 7 minutes or so for both teams just to get their breath back a little bit.
Yeah, it's been all action. I think Exeter especially, they just need to settle now. When you come out and you have an opening 8 minutes like that, it's really easy to try and keep it up, play width to width, play exciting rugby. But I think we just need to get back to basics, get our set piece back up and running, and then field position and territory will follow on from that.
That's the crucial thing then, like you said, field position and territory. Loughborough then, with that possession, with that territory, an opportunity now that running repairs have been made. That's a good line out again from Loughborough. Exeter then looking to get themselves in and amongst them all, looking to stop Loughborough in their tracks. And initially Exeter managed to get their hands in there and slow it down, but Loughborough still looking to maintain their attacking opportunity here, and the ball then comes out eventually. No joy from them all. And Loughborough then continuing 5 metres out from the Exeter line, continuing to build, continuing to look for opportunities. They get a little bit lost there, but the ball is still with them. Building, it looks like again Ben Smith there with his hands on the ball. Driving closer and closer to the line now, just 2 metres out Loughborough. There's space if they go wide. It's a loopy pass, it's picked up well over on that far side by George Barber. He's eventually stopped. And superb work by Exeter.
Yeah, it's fantastic defence. Will Yarnell on that short side, rushing out and putting the skill under some pressure, and he reaped the rewards there.
And you played with Yarnell as well, a scrum half, but around the breakdown, plays like a back row at times in terms of how quickly he gets over that ball.
Oh mate, he's everywhere. He's like a little Duracell bunny. He doesn't slow down.
So then Lloyd Seed clears up the field for Exeter, managing to stop that initial riposte. A good line out again from Moore, and Exeter then choosing to keep it tight, choosing to maul. Need to get that ball out though, and it's there, Yarnell. And Exeter then still building. Give or take halfway through the yellow card period now, as Yarnell puts boot to ball. Good take at the back there from Barber, but Bond chases up well on his opposite number this evening. There's another huge shot in there from Exeter. It looks like it's Milo Hallam who's put his body on the line there for his side. Loughborough again trying to chip through, almost getting their hands on it again, but Hitchcock manages to come away with it. He's going off on a little dance around here on the far side, but there is space. There's Addison again then with the carry. And Lloyd Seed. Exeter going out the back initially and then playing it short to Moore. Does well there under pressure, and there's Dan John popping up at first receiver. There's Relton. You can hear the buzz in the crowd as he gets his hands on the ball. And again then, Relton gets back up with no scrum half in place. Has a little pick himself, and Hitchcock there now. Cook then unable to gather the ball. And Fitzgerald comes away with it for Loughborough. Miles then back in position. And Titcombe, again, Loughborough really using this kick as a tactic. They've seen the space, but it's read well by John. Exeter need to get the supporting players there now, and they do.
Dan John, having played so much on the wing, looked really comfortable there, didn't he?
Looked really comfortable, and I suppose that's the real positive for Exeter, not having Bliss on the field for these 10 minutes. Someone in John that's played fullback, played wing, playing at centre tonight. He knows where he needs to be.
Absolutely.
Exeter then continuing to build, continuing to press, seeing what they can do with the advantage coming now as well. There is John. Huge shot on him. Bond then manages to get the offload away to Hitchcock. Loughborough get their hands over that, and we'll come back for the Exeter penalty. Baz, if you're on the field now, having been on your line for the last 5 minutes or so, what decision would you go for here?
Depending, obviously I'm not down there. Part of you would probably want to kill some time. It looks as if they're opting for the corner. Potentially at this point in the game, 0-0, like you say, just massive defensive set on your own line. You potentially want to take the full minute, wind down that clock until you're back to 15 men, and potentially get the scoreboard kicking as well. It is to the corner that they've gone then, Exeter backing their forwards pack, backing their maul. Yeah. If they get this one right. I've been impressed so far, to be fair. their line out, their Mull D down on their own line was really positive, stopping those 2 drives, and then really confrontational to maul them again now.
Here they go. Exeter then peel away, hauled down a metre short, driving for that line. Crowd trying to roar them over. Penalty advantage is that again from the referee. His arm went out. And Exeter a metre out now. 13 minutes, give or take, on our clock. The ball's gone wide. Here's the opportunity then. And it's gone wide, and it's Arthur Relton. And look at the scenes down there in the corner. 15 minutes on the clock, first blood to Exeter. Arthur Relton with his 14th try this season. Really, really well worked score there.
Yeah, unbelievable. The boy can't stop scoring.
Just what is it about Arthur Relton? He obviously played in his fresh year in that first team with you as well. This season he seems to have gone to another level with that finishing ability. Yeah,
well, to be fair, you've got to credit everyone. Their sort of the vision to come out, the execution as well under pressure. You know, that's 3 good passes to get the ball out to Relton there. Yeah, you can't take away. Great finish. Yeah, great start. I take it back. They definitely shouldn't have gone for the sticks. Going to the corner was a great decision.
I have to say, I was thinking the same as you about just getting those points on the board, but very wise decision, like you say. That one's got the crowd in fine voice, and Alec Lloyd-Seed below us then, right out on the touchline, will have an opportunity to open his account for the evening. Max Bliss returning to the field now as well. And Exeter have managed that yellow card period really, really well, you have to say. Loughborough threw everything at them on their own try line. And Lloyd-Seed then lines it up. Superb conversion from the fly half. I can see you applauding that one, Baz.
Outstanding.
Brilliant, brilliant kick from the fly half.
Alex, another great example of someone who came in, played schoolboy rugby, but he's come here and just taken every opportunity he's been given. Started in the fresh twos, worked his way up. Like, he's had to graft. Played on those dark Saturdays in National 3.
There's players all over the field that have played on those Saturdays today for both teams as well. On the bench for Loughborough tonight, Toby Adlington, Tom Bloomer, speaking to Scott Snedden earlier, he said they've been so good for them in that 2 North this season. They deserve the chance to play BUCS Super Rugby. And Lloyd-Seed, like you say as well, a player that's come through and proven himself and worked his way up.
Yeah.
Loughborough back on the ball then. Douglas Bridge, and then they've broken through there. Douglas Bridge again, he manages to get the offload away. Exeter look to get their hands on that ball. And a huge shot goes in there, backwards on the pass. Loughborough managed to gather well. And they continue to build, and there's Titcombe looking to release. Douglas Bridge again, 3 carries in the space of a minute for the second row. And Loughborough building, looking for opportunities. There's the captain, Nathan Pope. Miles again gets his hands on the ball, well held and well gathered between the legs there by Langdon, it looked like, but he's lost it on the floor at the end. Disappointment there for the visitors.
That's another awesome defensive set. They'll be really happy with that. Back up to 15 as well. So they're back to having 13 in that front line. So they can get up, be aggressive. Again, we were saved down that short side from just a bit of work rate. Tom Addison getting off the line, pressurising the skill, which probably saved us when they had a bit of an overlap on that edge.
Superb work from Addison there as well. Somebody that you played with, he's made 12 appearances this season. Again, like you said, talking about playing those Saturday League matches, came in, there's incredible competition in that back row, and he's just worked at it, built himself up and become a crucial factor this season for Exeter in the pack. It's a good scrum then from Exeter, looking to get the shove on, looking to get the march on. Addison just controlling it at his feet. Use it, the call from the referee, and Yarnell gets the call and goes blind. And there's Bliss, Bliss sets off on his own, Max Bliss! Tap tackle there on Bliss from Dan Eckersley. The fullback was gone there, brilliant tackle There's still an opportunity there. It looks like an Exeter player was shoved off the ball there by Jack Roundtree, but they're still building. They're on the 22, still stepping, but another huge collision there on that far side. Coming back towards this short side now. Another huge hit goes in on Milo Hallam and Lloyd Seed, and the ball's going wide again. Arthur Relson, what can he do now? Arthur Relson, he's gone past one, he's gone past two, he's offloaded. Bliss, Jordan Bond, has he got it down? What a score from Exeter. I can see Keith Fleming applauding below me there. That's how you know that is a good try. That was absolutely superb link-up play there from Exeter University. Baz, I can see you celebrating. Loughborough threw everything at them there in defence. That defensive line was so well set, so strong. But that was just a piece of individual brilliance from the back three.
Yeah, all three of them chipping in there. That initial break from Blissey got us on the front foot. We then did well to compose ourselves, not get too frantic, and then to come back and exploit it. Arthur Relton beating three, I think, there, and then getting the offload away.
You talk about unreal try, like you said. We talk about players taking their opportunities. Jordan Bond, injured at the start of the season, come back in, and the man's absolutely flying. That's his 6th try in just 7 BUCS Super Rugby matches. Lloyd Seed then lining this one back up, looking for another 2 points.
Yeah, Jordan Bond was one of those 2 years ago. He took a year out, so he did a year in industry in between his 2nd and 3rd year. But he's one of those that played really well 2 years ago, had a year away. He's come back and found that form which he had in that 1920 season.
He's been fantastic on the wing for Exeter. Lloyd Seed unable to convert, but it's 12-0 to Exeter after 20 minutes. It's time off temporarily, quickly. Exeter player getting taped up below us. And from my vantage point, I can only see a blue hat, so I can tell you it's Tom Addison I can see now turning away. Wasn't quite sure for a second whether that was Addison or Morris. He's all good to go though. And Titcombe will get us back underway. And he goes long. Exeter take well and set themselves into that familiar position. You see it for Exeter Chiefs in the men's game, in the women's game. Exeter University as well, so strong around the breakdown when they need to be to set up the opportunities for the kickers. And Loughborough then choose the aerial route again. It's bouncing, it's a strange decision from White to leave it, and Titcombe's managed to get his hands to it and managed to offload there to Ashworth. There's a bit of a miscommunication there from Exeter's captain. And a fortuitous position for Loughborough, but Douglas Bridge shoved backwards there. Titcombe again on the ball. Lewis again stopped in his tracks, but Loughborough building, pressing, looking for the opportunities. Miles is again there quickly. Titcombe again out to Douglas Bridge. He's been a brilliant outlet so far for his side when they've just needed somebody to make those hard yards. Loughborough still looking to press, still looking to build. And they've gone aerial again. Bliss looks to take it, but it's gone forwards. And after all that, and after that miscommunication, a knock-on in the air from Bliss and an opportunity for Loughborough to get a little bit of momentum back, I suppose, now, because that's been a huge 10 minutes for Exeter.
Yeah, massive. Yeah, that was good restraint shown there by Arthur Relton. Once that ball was knocked on, to not touch it. That could have easily been that easily could have turned into a penalty. How do you pick that up?
Scrum now right down below us.
Loughborough just wanting to play some rugby in Exeter's half now. They spent a lot of time defending. And they'll be disappointed that they didn't capitalise on that 14-man period.
They've been making good progress as well, especially with that little dink over the top. We've seen it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
A solid scrum there. Miles to Titcombe. Hope juggles but manages to hold, almost breaks through that first tackle. That juggle actually did him a world of good in terms of being able to make those meters. And Loughborough continuing to build. Continuing to press. Exeter's defence holding firm, putting the pressure on at the breakdown, but not rolling away. Penalty advantage coming. And Titcombe goes out the back. Lewis then playing 13 in this attack. And Exeter get their hands over the ball. Brilliant work there by Finn Richardson, but no advantage coming. We'll come back for that penalty. An opportunity for Loughborough then to pump this one into the corner and get themselves back into this game.
You can really see the Exeter defence in that last set. They're not able to put that same line speed that they were in the first couple of sets. I think they've been spooked slightly by that chip over the top. It's probably what Loughborough wanted. Hold them in their tracks, keep them honest.
It's a clever tactic as well, especially when you've got a player like Charlie Titcombe at fly half, second highest point scorer in BUCS Super Rugby this season. But whenever you watch Loughborough play, he just adds an extra dimension to that attacking line to bring in those big ball carriers like Lewis and Pope in the centre.
Yeah, he seems to be at the centre of everything. They're doing really well at the moment.
Line out then goes well for the visitors, and they set themselves up for a maul. This one is getting a lot more success than the first one. The referee's arm is out. They're getting closer. Are they over the line? Referee looking, not quite. Lewis ships it on. Titcombe unable to gather the ball, but a penalty there on the try line. And Loughborough then, you'd expect, to put this one straight back into the corner. In fact, they are. Titcombe, no time wasted there, sends that one straight into the corner. Yeah. See what they do here then. That last maul caused a little bit of damage for Exeter. They've said it again. And Loughborough then getting that maul working a lot better now. They're getting closer. They're getting closer. Referee's having a look, and they're over. It's a try for Loughborough. We'll get that scorer confirmed for you as soon as we are able to see. But that's just what they needed. 24 minutes on the clock, under the cosh after those two tries. But for all their possession, all their territory that they've had themselves, it's probably a fair reflection to see Loughborough get over for that try.
Yeah, I still think Exeter will be a bit disappointed. We gave them those entries purely through our discipline.
It'll be Titcombe then to line up the conversion. Looking at the back there, it looks like it's Nathan Langdon that has gone over for his side. In fact, my apologies, it's Ollie Ashworth that has gone over for Loughborough there. And Titcombe then, pressure on from the chasing Exeter players. Great kick from the fly half. It's 12-7 to Exeter then. It's been a frantic, fast start, but a really, really entertaining one. Lloyd Seed to get us back underway.
It's a great restart.
Perfectly placed restart. Douglas Bridge takes really well. White, though, straight there, harrying him, forcing him to ground. And there's the welcome committee from Exeter in that defensive line that we've been talking about so far this evening. Loughborough then setting themselves, and Miles then looking for the box. Pressure on Bliss then after that drop ball last time. And he's unable to ground.
That's a shame. It's normally such a strong point of Bliss's game. You can see he's frustrated with himself.
Concern here for Exeter. Time off calls the referee. Jacob Morris has stayed down, getting up from that ruck. Crucial player for Exeter in the front row. Always one of the first names on the lips of the coaches when they're looking for a player of the match. Just puts in those hard yards.
A lot of the unseen stuff. He's not flashy, but he gets through an awful lot of work.
Definitely gets through an awful lot of work. You say he's not flashy. He scored 5 tries this season from the front row, which is a pretty good return. And let's hope then, for Exeter's sake, that he is okay to carry on. Jared Williams being readied below and it looks like Morris is unable to continue. Disappointment there for Morris, and a huge cheer for him as he leaves the field. And Addison then over to give him a tap on the head, really disappointing. But Jared Williams then on for Exeter. And a big opportunity now for Williams then to show what he can do. Miles then will have the ball in his hand. Referee has signalled we're back underway. And let's see then, straight into the action. First chance for Williams. Miles. Titcombe, there's space there. Lewis breaks free, releases, looks like Dan Marston there, the 15. Loughborough up to the 22, a desperate last-ditch tackle there, but a superb turnover for Exeter, a crucial turnover, you have to say, as well. Loughborough looked really, really threatening there. They're starting to get Josh Lewis on the ball more and let his hands and his feet do the talking.
Yeah, I did feel Exeter sat up real tight. I do feel Loughborough went where they wanted them to, and Dan John backed his pace to be able to get back and make that tackle, which he did.
Lightning quick Dan John in all forms of the game, whether he's running onto the ball in a tackle or tracking back there, as Baz said. A good kick.
That Loughborough back three, the more touches they get, it does feel dangerous, doesn't it?
Feels really dangerous, and it's something that happened in that game earlier in the season at Loughborough. Exeter started really dominantly, were unable to get themselves on the board, and eventually that back three for Loughborough just opened up. Relson though, he's got the ball in his hands, but it's a forward pass for Exeter. Referee has to blow his whistle again there. Both teams still going at it. It's so loud here. Struggling to hear myself, so I can't know what it's like for the players down there as well, trying to hear those calls. But you can just hear that buzz around the stadium every single time that Arthur gets his hands on the ball for Exeter.
You can score from anywhere.
Definitely can.
We've seen it here before.
We certainly have in the corner back in 2019. And another scrum for Loughborough again then. It was a rapid start, but the game seems to have just settled down now into a pattern of play. Loughborough are beginning to look a little bit more threatening in attack. They're starting to use those options in those wide channels, like we said. Exeter scrum gets a little bit of a march on there, but Miles does well to get it out. And again, they look to set Lewis free on that arcing run. But it's knocked on, and the ball's booted through. It's going to go over the goal line. Is it going to go dead? Or have Exeter got themselves over the line? Not quite. No advantage coming, though, from that. So we'll come back for the Exeter scrum. I have to say, I thought the referee might have called advantage over when that kick went through.
I agree.
Maybe a slight let-off there for Exeter, but a good opportunity there to use those in-goal areas. They're huge here at Sandy Park.
That was much better. Loughborough tried the exact same move from that scrum, but Dan John spotted it, cut it out at source.
There's good work there
Great
from John. Great D, like you say.
It's interesting to see Loughborough still showing their blindside winger high, despite Exeter empty in that short size, given that number advantage on the open.
Interesting decision there from Loughborough, like you say. Yarnell gets it out to Lloyd Seed. Hitchcock out the back to Bond, and Bliss chooses not to use Relson this time, the fullback. Takes it on himself. There's Addison running a hard direct line. Good tackle on him from his opposite number, Ben Smith. And Exeter then still building. Yarnell comes back this way. White thinks about the pass. Nobody there. But they're still going down this short side. And there's Bliss. And Bliss bursts through. Can't quite get the ball away. He does well to hold on to it. Yarnell now to White again, popping up at first receiver. The captain's starting to get his hands on the ball now, starting to enjoy himself as well. There is space here. John, little step, but Loughborough's defence realigns quickly, stops him well. Exeter then just testing that inside shoulder of Loughborough at the moment. Milo Hallam. He's pushed backwards. There's Relton again then, a show and a go. Milo Hallam, a player that played for the Fresh Ones this season. And Exeter then trying to win a penalty off of the referee. You have to say, playing for that one a little bit, and he lets the play go on. But it's a penalty now for Exeter, not releasing, and Yarnell's looked to take quickly and knocked on, says the referee. Have to say, the Loughborough player wasn't about 10 metres there at all.
It was a short 10 metres, wasn't it?
Definitely a short 10 metres, but perhaps that's an important lesson as well there for Exeter and for anyone watching rugby. It's all good taking a quick tap, but sometimes just be sensible. You know your maul's working, slow it down, go to the corner, don't lose that opportunity. There's time off then.
Yeah, slight let off there. Slight let off for Loughborough. I think Exeter will be really happy with that though. That was an awesome attacking set. We looked good, we looked composed, we went multi-phase.
It's definitely a good attacking set. Everybody back up on their feet. And from a promising Exeter attacking position, it's now a Loughborough scrum deep in their own half. It's been a really, really good battle up front so far. Miles then just waiting for the engagement. And Exeter again looking to try and get the march on. Good hook there from Langdon. And the ball is released quickly to Pope. And Loughborough again then through Ashworth. And Miles then steadying himself for the box kick. It's come off the leg of Bliss and then tidied up well there by Loughborough. Ben Fitzgerald had been unable to grab that one initially. Time off again, the call here from the referee. Player down from Loughborough needing treatment after that collision there. 33 minutes on our clock, give or take. It's been rapid, it's been fast-paced. It's not surprising, it's starting to take the toll on the body a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a lot of ball in play, especially in that first 10 minutes. I think in that first 8 minutes, really saw the ball go out once. So yeah, that will take its toll on anyone.
Definitely would, and you can see those running repairs needing to go in for players. Bliss getting a bit of strapping as well for Exeter. The Loughborough player still down, back up on his feet now though. And some words of encouragement there to Jared Williams from Luke Brailsford before they set for this scrum. Brailsford, a flanker that's described as hard as nails by the Exeter coaching staff before this game. A bit like Morris, who we were talking about earlier, absolute workhorse, makes those shots when you need him to, gets himself over the ball quickly.
Yeah, I played with Lukey in my third year, and he was still in college, but he was playing for our Saturday League side, and he was 17 at the time, and he punched well above his weight, and he's put on a bit of size himself. And yeah, I'm glad I'm not his opposite number.
Definitely glad as well. I have to say, I would not want to be on the receiving end of some of the tackles that are going in out there from both teams.
Yeah, I think Chris Moore's been outstanding. Like you say, massive day for him. Really excited for him. He deserves it massively. But some of the defensive efforts he's put in today have been phenomenal.
So you can tell the players must be a little bit tired. We finally seem to have some scrum resets. Exeter though get the march on, and Smith is forced to break away from the base of that scrum. Exeter get their hands over the ball. Not quite able to get the turnover though, and Eckersley feeds the ball out.
That's the threat we were discussing of Yarnell over that ball. He's like having another back row.
You can see it there. Yarnell, such a low centre of gravity as well. And Loughborough then been forced into the kick from that extra pressure. And Bliss then, will it be third time lucky under the high ball? It is. Good tackle on the fullback. Yarnell swiftly into position. Yarnell just orchestrating his troops. White then on the short side. Yarnell then goes aerial. Relson chasing after this one. There's a knock on there from Dan Martin, and then offside as Loughborough went to gather the ball. Penalty for Exeter. Crowd roaring below us. It's a really, really annoying one when that happens. You can't help it. Just reflexes say you've got to get that ball if it's bouncing around. But an opportunity then for Exeter, and Lloyd Seed pumps it into the 22 with not much of an angle to work with.
Yeah, he's done well there. Right on that 5 metre line, he's done well to squeeze 30 metres out.
And trust me, if you're getting a compliment on your kicking from Harry Bazalgette, you know it's a good kick. More than steadying himself. Solid line out again from Exeter, looking to get that mauling game going. Loughborough holding firm, doing well to stop that first drive, and then doing really well to disrupt it. Exeter's hands and communication is letting them down a little bit at the base there. You can see the frustration there on the face of Chris Moore. That was an opportunity there for his side, but they're still in the position they need to be in.
Yeah, it looks like it was just lost on that transfer, which would be annoying. They'd have done that, they could do that every day of the week. They'll have done it probably 20 times in the training week, so that's a frustrating one.
It's just little moments like that as well for Loughborough. They've managed to start stemming that Exeter attacking threat now as well. Their defence is starting to really come to the fore. And those little errors like you talk about there, those little breakdowns in communication, they can really be a confidence builder for the side in defence.
Definitely. You know, the longer you can sustain this pressure and go on without conceding, you know, considering how much ball Exeter have had and where the game's been played, there's only 5 points in it. One runaway score and they could be ahead. So yeah, these are massive moments, and ultimately they will add up.
And like you say, they're massive moments in the context of the game that will add up come that 80-minute mark. And let's see what happens then. Final 3 minutes of this half. Exeter still camped in that Loughborough 22. Unable to make the most of those opportunities so far. That's a much better scrum from the Loughborough pack. And Miles then with the carry. He's shot down.
Great shot.
Superb shot there. And Loughborough then looking to set up an opportunity. And our clock is running slightly slow on the referee's clock. That is half time here. And it's 12-7 to Exeter. A rampant start from the hosts, unable to then get over the line. Max Bliss then was sent to the sin bin after just 5 minutes on the clock. But Exeter rallied, held firm, stopped Loughborough when they looked to force their way over, and then hit them with a sucker punch going over the try line for 2 crucial scores. Loughborough though have hit back really well and started to get their live wire back three on the ball a little bit more, and Josh Lewis in the centre really starting to show his worth for them. Baz, I know we've been talking all the way through, but like you said, big small moments decide the game at the end of the day. How would you assess that first 40?
Pretty mixed. Like, we look really good when we go multi-phase. We look comfortable when we're attacking. But you've got to give Loughborough some credit. They've defended so well. They forced us to the edge. I feel like we played into their hands at times. I think there's times where we've gone to the edge, but we probably need to look to just play through them. And so should take them on that next phase. But look, I think Exeter will be happy with that. Yeah, we'll see. Big 40 coming up.
Huge 40 coming up. And below us then for their half-time performance is the Exeter Emeralds. We're going to stay with this one on the stream for 20 seconds or so and then tee up for you the highlights from last Wednesday, wet, wild and windy match against Northumbria. With stormy weather and high winds closing in, Exeter University made the trip to Northumbria, determined to keep up the pace at the top of the BUCS Super Rugby table. This fixture had been moved from its original venue of Kingston Park due to the threat of the inclement weather, but it was Northumbria who made the fast start, as they burst through Exeter's defence and used the wind to their advantage in the opening exchanges. With Northumbria continuing to press, Will Davies tried a little chip over the top, but unfortunately for his side, the ball bounced dead. Exeter were barely able to get their hands on the ball in these opening minutes, but the defence, including this tackle from Cameron Bullard, continued to stand firm. In challenging conditions, you need the strength of your pack, and Exeter's was on top form all afternoon, drawing repeated scrum penalties, including this one here. Exeter were beginning to get a foothold in the match now, with this carry from Matt Cook. But it was Northumbria who struck first, Davies intercepting Will Yarnell's little offload and racing 60 metres up the pitch to cross for the first try of the afternoon. Oscar Yandel then converted to give his side an early 7-point advantage. Exeter were looking to strike back and quickly, and they were soon on the scoreboard themselves as Alec Lloyd-Seed burst through a tackle, feeding inside to Yarnell to race over for his first try of the afternoon, and the 500th try in BUCS Super Rugby this season. Lloyd-Seed then added the conversion to leave the match tied at 7 apiece. Directly from the restart, Exeter was straight back on the attack, Jordan Bond catching and racing clear, feeding inside to Chris Moore, before the wind took hold of the hooker's pass. Northumbria, though, was straight back on the attack and almost scored this second with this clever move. George Pringle crashing through several tackles and offloading to Jonty Maney, only for the pass to go forwards. Both sides were showing some nice touches despite the conditions, and after Charlie McCabe juggled and collected the ball, he raced clear on the wing, looking to feed Arthur Relton to set his winger free, only for the ball to be lost forward. Exeter, though, continued to apply the pressure, and after a penalty was kicked to the corner, looked to drive their way over the line, before Northumbria managed to get their hands in and disrupt them all. From the resulting scrum, Northumbria fed George Pringle on a hard line, but Exeter were able to force a turnover through Yarnell, who then looked to take quickly, Cam Wilkinson blocking him. Yarnell was unable to ground, and after Exeter had failed to get over the line, Wilkinson saw yellow. With the man advantage, it wouldn't take long for Exeter to hit the front. After the pack had kept it tight, and with several strong carries, Lloyd-Seed fizzed the ball wide to Relton, who dotted down for his 13th try in 13 games, before the fly half then duly added the conversion. Despite playing into the wind, Exeter was starting to have a bit of freedom in attack now, and Lloyd-Seed and Bond looked to feed Relton on the wing. As Exeter continued to search for an opening, Maney overcommitted at the ruck, allowing Yarnell to scoot through for an easy try under the posts. Lloyd-Seed again converted to give Exeter a healthy lead going into the second half. If you wanted to know how strong the wind was, all you had to do was look at what was happening at the line-out. Both teams knew they needed to keep ball in hand, and Yarnell was proving a live wire for his side, racing away with this quickly taken penalty. With Charlie McCabe buffeted back in attack, Exeter did well to hold on to the ball, before Yarnell popped up with an inch-perfect 50-22 for his side. With the wind once again causing havoc at the line-out, Northumbria's confidence grew as they worked their way back up the field. Every time they tried to enter the Exeter 22 though, the defence stood firm, as did the pack with this huge scrum drive against the head to win a penalty, as Exeter continued to hold on to the lead. With the strength of the wind meaning attacking opportunities were at a premium, Lloyd Seed managed to find Relton on the wing, who charged back into the Northumbria 22 as Exeter hunted for that elusive bonus point score. Now looking to keep the ball tight and use the forwards, they would eventually find their way over. After 7 or 8 phases of attacking play, Milo Hallam burst through the first tackle, allowing Exeter to get themselves on the front foot. With the try line now in sight and the wind threatening to blow the camera off the roof, Harvey Dunn eventually managed to crash over for that crucial bonus point try. They were made to work hard for it, but this was a critical score for Exeter in the context of the title race. Whilst Lloyd Seed was unable to add the conversion, this image of the posts shows you just how windy it had become. The game wasn't a foregone conclusion though, and when Yandle's kickoff got caught in the breeze, replacement Ned Newman gathered the ball and burst through a tackle, racing over out wide to register his side's second try. With just a few minutes left on the clock, Northumbria began to look to open up in search of a third try and potentially a losing bonus point from what had been a well-fought contest in atrocious conditions. Exeter's defence held firm until wing Josh McConkey spotted a gap and burst through the first tackle. He was eventually pulled down though, and Exeter's defence held firm to see out the result and keep the title race alive. Loughborough making their way back out onto the field for the second half. No changes for the visitors. And here comes the Exeter side as well. Just that one change so far then, the injury-enforced one of Jared Williams on for Jacob Morris. And Loughborough are ready to get us back underway. Charlie Titcombe then with the ball in his hands, waiting for the referee's whistle. And we're back underway at Sandy Park, 12-7 to Exeter. Huge 40 minutes in store in the context of the league season as well. Durham cruising against Cardiff in the other live stream game this evening, keeping their place at the top of the table. A huge win as well for Swansea against Hartpury, which really puts the cat amongst the pigeons in terms of those positions around 5th, 6th, 7th. A knock on in the air there from Loughborough. That's a good outcome for Exeter there at the start of this second half.
Yeah, they'll be really happy with that. It will come. They look so natural and so comfortable, just building and boxing. I know they put a lot of time into it during the week, and they reap the rewards. Just like the organisation, they're so quick to set and so comfortable getting up from there and disrupting, getting in the air. And that's twice now they've reaped the rewards.
Like I said, Exeter really good at it. Loughborough have been really good at putting that pressure on Max Bliss in the air as well. An opportunity then for both sides at the scrum once they sort themselves out. Lloyd Seed then just passing some instructions over to his scrum half Yarnell.
There's lots of kick space open on that far touchline.
You wonder if that's the message that Lloyd Seed was passing on, but instead it's Hitchcock.
Nope.
Who carries hard. Next to coming around the corner really quickly with Addison.
It's got to go. It's got to go.
It is on. Can they get the ball out there quickly enough? Not quite. Loughborough then realigning well, but Exeter still building, still pressing, still looking. And Yarnell, the ball to Moore. And again back in position. There's Lloyd Seed, fizzes the ball wide to Ollie White. Good hit there. But a penalty advantage coming for not rolling away. Yarnell then to Williams on that far side.
This advantage, this is where you'd like to see them try something a little different, like Loughborough did with that little chip kick. Whilst they've got the advantage and they can wave the wand a little bit.
And they've looked inside, they've made a half break there, and like you said about waving the wand, giving it a go, you wonder now if that's what they're doing. Dan John steps off his left foot, up powering into the Loughborough 22. Hitchcock again stopped well. Bond there to support his centre. And Exeter then still just pressing and probing here. Lloyd Seed, like he was thinking about the kick there, but his ball's fizzed wide. Relson cuts back through, breaks a tackle or two. Big carry, big collision there in the middle of the park. That's a lovely little dummy by Lloyd Seed. He's away. Has he got the legs? He's pulled down a metre short. There's Yarnell now ordering his forwards, getting in there himself. There's Hallam.
There's space out to the right if they can move the ball.
To Hitchcock. Hitchcock carries himself. The advantage has to be over now. And these are the moments that Exeter need to make count. But Loughborough have turned the ball over, come away with it, fighting hard to make sure that they don't ground the ball over.
They turned it over. Chris Moore's picked it up.
Turned it over. And what's the decision here? Time off the call from the referee. Loughborough managed to snaffle possession back on the line. Exeter then snaffled it back themselves. Have they got that third score?
Wow, what a break from Alec there.
It was a brilliant break from Lloyd Seed.
Just couldn't hold his feet right at the end.
Gutting for him not to be able to hold his feet there. He looked for all money like he was in. And the referee then having a discussion with his assistant.
He's doing the standard, didn't quite make the line, pretend you got a cramp.
Yeah, that's definitely what Lloyd Seed's doing there. And the decision is no try, but a knock-on from Loughborough on their own try line. Exeter then still have the attacking opportunity, still have the position right at the start of this second half. And Baz, I could see you when they were making those little half breaks and those hard yards before Lloyd Seed went through. You were screaming nearly for them to take it to the short side. That's where the space is for both teams if they're able to get the ball there.
Yeah, it seems to be at the moment. There were a couple of opportunities where Loughborough had similar pictures and Exeter managed to scramble well. But if either team could start executing on that, I think that would be a real good entry for them into
It's
this
a
game.
huge scrum then from Exeter. They're building. Addison's controlling it at the base. 3 metres out, 2 metres out, 1 metre out. Tom Addison, he's over. Third try for Exeter University, and it's Tom Addison, the number 8. That was brilliantly controlled at the base. Brilliant scrum. And Baz, again, I can see you applauding there. We've seen a bit of everything from this Exeter team tonight. We've seen the fancy footwork and the feet out wide, and now seeing that power game as well.
Yeah, well, that's what we discussed before the game, how important that front row and that battle up front would be. I think that's a massive show of dominance there. They'll be really happy with that. It's not often you see Keith Fleming clapping on a try, but that really was a Keith Fleming style score, wasn't it?
Definitely is keeping it tight. I can see Loughborough as Lloyd Seed lines up this conversion, lining up Bryn Davies below us, readying himself to come on to the field. He will be coming on for Callum Smith at Loosehead. Lloyd Seed then adds the conversion. And it's 19-7 to Exeter. And another change then for Loughborough as well. Wearing 24, that's Joe Plunkett, but he is coming on for Jack Roundtree. So 2 changes there in the front row for Loughborough. And they're going to look to inject some fresh legs into their side early in the second half.
The lads will be really happy with the start to that second half. You couldn't ask for much more, could you?
It's definitely a great start for Exeter. It's a good take in the air though from Dan Martin.
It's something we didn't really discuss in the first half, but Loughborough now have a fairly strong wind behind their backs. Blowing here from the south, sort of right to left as you guys are watching.
And you can see Titcombe using that aerial option straight away there then. But it's been taken by Exeter in a little half break. Penalty though for Loughborough, holding on, and like you said, with that strong breeze, Loughborough were trying that aerial tactic a lot in that first half, but actually a really useful tactic for them here in the second period as well.
Yeah, the quality of kickers they have in Titcombe, he's shown he seems to have quite a few of them, or different styles of kick in his locker. We've seen him with like the cute little dinks over the top. We've seen him there go cross field. Yeah, definitely a weapon I think they'll look to use with the wind behind their backs. So it's a great entry into territory as well.
And after that early Exeter score in this half, Loughborough then with an opportunity themselves to try and get themselves back into the match, and they take quickly off the back there, and there's a strong carry in midfield. It's Chris Moore again. It looks like down below, it's a huge hit, but they're not rolling away. Penalty advantage coming again. Lewis then held up in contact, but Miles is there. There's Lewis again. Show, go, takes it on himself, wriggles out of the first tackle. Penalty advantage still being played by the referee. Douglas Bridge to Titcombe. There is space here for Loughborough. They're trying, they're probing, using that advantage. And again, then creeping their way back up the field, down that short side, trucking forward, looking to punch some holes. And they have punched a hole there, through now into that Exeter 22. Miles then thinks he's seen a gap on the short side, half break from the scrum half. Pulled down by some desperate Exeter tackles. Richardson then rushes up out of the line. Did well there to hold his ground, but a new penalty advantage coming for Loughborough there. The referee's arm going up again. And the ball now then out the back. And it's fizzed wide, and it's picked up really well there by Ben Smith on that far side. Hitchcock tracks back well to stop him. Flight of that pass caught out Relson a little bit there, and Titcombe, where's he off to? He's got the ball wide. Dan Martin looking interested in that space. Eventually though, nothing coming there for the visitors. Come back for that penalty, and it's been a really good response from that Loughborough team after that early Exeter score.
Yeah, that was a long spell of advantage. Loughborough seemed to throw everything they had at Exeter there, going width to width. Exeter held on well.
Time off again then for one of the Loughborough players on that near far side rather to receive treatment. And Ollie White just having a couple of words with the referee, just checking some things with his side. Penalty count has been pretty good so far today for Exeter, but it's certainly something that they said in the week they wanted to work on.
You can see a bit of cramp starting to creep into a few of the lads on both sides. I think that just shows the speed of the game, how the game's been played by both teams.
It definitely does, and it's probably as good a touch finder as you can get there from Titcombe. It's a perfect opportunity for his side. A quick apology to Jack Roundtree as well. It was the prop who came off rather than Nathan Langdon earlier. So Nathan Langdon is still on the pitch and ready to throw in here for the visitors. Referee just making everybody set. Loughborough then having a quick chat. And we saw them get over the line for that try in the first half from the maul. Phase one, they've done well there, taking that ball in the air, and they're now looking to drive forward. They've got that drive on. Creeping towards the Exeter line. Exeter resolutely trying to stop them. And eventually the balls had to be spun out there to Pope with that carry. There is a bit of space if Loughborough are quick. But instead, they've kept it tight. Have they got over the line? No, they're a metre short. Superb carry there, and now they'll keep it tight. And they're over for the try. It's Jack Bursonet, the replacement. He's just come onto the field and he's sensed the space, seen the space there on the short side and dotted down under the posts. It's good read there from Bursonet to get the ball down, but I suppose Exeter probably be a little bit disappointed there about that defence on the short side.
Yeah, again, you go back to discipline. Loughborough managed to get into that position, 3 penalties, enabled them to exit their half, and then ultimately pressure on the try line. Obviously, you can always fault the defence at the last minute, but you got to look at how they got there, why they were able to get there. And I'm afraid that one was down to purely discipline.
We were just talking about that discipline as well, and as Titcombe lines up the conversion, Teddy Leatherbarrow coming on to the field for his side. Huge for Loughborough to have their captain back out on the field. And Titcombe adds the conversion. 19-14 the score then. And after that raucous atmosphere at the start of the half, it's a little bit tight now. It's a little bit more cagey with that Loughborough score. Just a 5-point game. Lloyd Seed gets his side back underway. Jared Williams, great chase on the prop, great tackle from the prop. And Loughborough then sensing the options. Titcombe thought about the pass. It's quick ball for Loughborough. Bryn Davies there with strong carry. Great impact from the prop since he's come onto the field. And Titcombe then now uses that aerial option. Grelson has to take. Is that late? So is that in the air? Not quite perfectly timed by Loughborough. It's a superb tackle, but there is now a penalty advantage at the ruck. And Loughborough will be disappointed with that after a superb tackle, superb pressure to give away that silly penalty. And that's what you were talking about there, Baz, about just penalties compounding each other when they don't need to.
Yeah, what an impact. That was his first action off the bench, Teddy Leatherbarrow. Fresh legs, probably meant he got there first, but great timing, unbelievable shot. Unfortunately, just a bit of discipline and not releasing before he tried to get his hands on that ball.
Exeter then lining up a sub below us. It's Charlie McCaig who is ready to come on in a moment or two's time. First though, Lloyd Seed to send this one into touch, and he does just that. Not quite yet for McKay. He's been told to go and sit back down and put the bib on. But he's been warming up for a while now, and you suspect it won't be long until he enters the field.
There's nothing worse than that. You get warm, you get ready, you get to the side of the pitch and they tell you they don't want you.
Oh, it's an iffy line out from Exeter. Really good work to scramble the ball back. But Loughborough and Langdon all over that ball for Loughborough, managing to get their hands onto it. Miles then kicking, looking for a 50-22. Exeter have got to be on their guard here. And that's a tackle in the air, very similar to that one we saw in those opening few minutes.
It's a dangerous game. Exeter playing there, letting the ball bounce twice.
Really are. It's the second time they've done it in the match, and really lucky to get away with that one. And Lloyd Seed again then will clear to touch.
We all know how a rugby ball can bounce. That bounces slightly differently and goes into a Loughborough hand. They're under the post.
It's a horrible, horrible bounce. Sometimes the rugby ball. Fortunately for Exeter there, that one just, and when I say just, I mean just, went their way. There's a second line out in a row that's gone wrong from Exeter though, and Ashworth comes away with the ball. He's up to the 22. Exeter's line out was so strong, so composed in that first half. And there's space here, there's space now. Pope, Lewis combine. And Pope breaks three, he's 5 metres out, he's eventually hauled down by Bond. Loughborough growing into this game. And another strong carry, they're 2 metres out, looking to level proceedings, but it's a penalty for Exeter.
Will Yarnell.
On the floor. It's Will Yarnell playing like a flanker in that 9 jersey. Diving over the top there, the call from the referee, and that's a real let off for Exeter there. 2 line-out mistakes, and they're back in that position. Lloyd Seed then clears to touch, and there's 2 Exeter subs now down below us, and 2 Loughborough subs as well, so we'll confirm those for you in a second. Joe Plunkett is now going to be coming on for Nathan Langdon at the next stoppage. There's a good line out from Exeter. Addison carries hard off the pass from White, and Yarnell then to Hallam. Hallam carries hard into Monday. And he puts boot to ball. Jordan Bond is after this one. Can't quite get the jump right. Dan Martin there with a really good clean take under pressure. There's Douglas Bridge carrying hard again in midfield. He's been everywhere for Loughborough today, the second row. And Titcombe,
Again
boot
to the
to ball.
sky.
You called it, Baz. It's a good take there for Exeter. And that's actually a really good net outcome for Loughborough. The ball's gone out on the full. And there are those 2 changes, firstly for Exeter. So a little bit of confusion below us. The officials just making sure they're coming on, and indeed they are. So it's Josh Barton, number 22, and Charlie McCaig, number 23, who are on for Exeter. Alec Lloyd Seed, his day is done. And Max Bliss as well coming off. So Dan John will move to fullback for Exeter. And those changes as well for Loughborough. Joe Plunkett on for Nathan Langdon, and Rhys Malone onto the pitch as well for Dan Martin. So he will go into the fullback slot.
I think that's unbelievable shift today from Alec. I think he's gone above and beyond. We all know what Barton brings though, as this game tightens up and you need a moment of magic.
So if you need a moment of magic, or you need some fancy footwork to get you out of a hole, it's Josh Barton is your man. Loughborough though are back on the attack here, and it's Loughborough, industrious, physical, spinning out of tackles.
He's been an absolute handful since he come on.
He really has. And Plunkett then, his first touch, good tackle, but he gets the ball back well for his side. And Titcombe then, there's a gap there. It's Rhys Malone, and they're getting the ball away, Loughborough. Exeter scrambling.
score. It's that man again.
It's that man again. He's managed to get the ball down. And out of nowhere, Loughborough level with 59 minutes on the clock. 19 all with the conversion to come.
What an impact he's had since he's come on.
He's had a huge impact for his side. And for Exeter now, you'd expect Titcombe to slot this conversion, to put his side 2 points ahead. They just need to be composed, be sensible, get back into their game, and Titcombe does slot that conversion to put his side into the lead. With Josh Barton on the field now, they just need to be sensible, just need to be cautious. There's still loads of time in this game.
Yeah, 20 minutes. They got to stay calm. This second half, discipline, as well as I do think this wind has either picked up, or Loughborough potentially managing it better than we did. But we need to play some rugby in their half. Doesn't feel like we've really been there this.
It really doesn't. After
this period,
early score for Addison. Oh, that's a superb take from Jordan Bond from the restart. And Exeter managed to get the ball back well. It's really that first time since that Addison try that Exeter have been in the Loughborough half. Let's see what they can do now. Barton out the back to McKay. Both of them with their first touches. And here's Dan John. There's Bond again on that far side, pushing through that first tackle, forced into touch.
You never guess who pushed him into touch.
That man again for Loughborough. He has been absolutely everywhere since he came on.
He's been phenomenal.
It'll be a Loughborough line out then, and Teddy Leatherbarrow, absolute thorn in the side of Exeter at the moment. And let's see what Plunkett does then with the line out. Exeter almost managed to get a hand to it, but Loughborough then, it's a fumble in midfield. And after all of that work and all of that time, praising Teddy Leatherbarrow, that's a first mistake from the flanker. A change for Exeter there as well. Arthur Thomas coming onto the field. Hard, abrasive second row, Thomas. Can play in the back row as well. And it's Matt Cook coming off for Thomas, and a change for Loughborough as well. Tom Bloomer coming on to the field. In the back row. Applause for Matt Cook as he makes his way off the field. And it's Ollie Ashworth who has come off for Loughborough. There's an opportunity now then for Exeter. We've been talking about that field position, we've been talking about that need for territory. There's a penalty at the scrum, that's the first job. Interesting decision now then for Ollie White in front of the posts. 2 points down.
Going to the corner.
No doubt in Exeter's mind though, they're going for the corner. Barton puts it into touch. Maybe would have wanted an extra metre or two if he could.
Yeah, from there you'd really like to bury it into that 5 metre line.
Still though, Exeter 10 metres out, in range, in sight, searching for that fourth bonus point try, but also the try to take them back into the lead. That's a really clever line-out play, really clever. 9, 10, 11 people in there for Exeter, and it is that try. It's a penalty try. The full 7 points for Exeter. Huge roar from the crowd. 26-21, obviously no conversion needed. And that's just what Exeter needed. We talked about taking your opportunities, playing that power game. That was a really, really clever line-out move.
Yeah, it's good. It's a nice time to use it as well. Nice time to use it. You'd probably put your money on them just driving from there.
It is a really clever play.
From slightly further out as well.
Yeah. Loughborough then not hanging around at the restart. hear that roar around us. And you can see the crowd in fine voice enjoying themselves after that try. Yarnell, that kick probably didn't get the metres he wanted on it. And then Exeter looked to gather the ball and end up accidentally passing it, headbutting it forwards, whichever way you want to look at it. It's in Loughborough hands now. And Titcombe almost finds the gap, almost manages to get through. Good tackle on the fly half. He couldn't quite get his hands free. This game really coming to life now. Little kick through, is charged down, but Loughborough still have their hands on the ball. Douglas Bridge again, straight out the back. And it's another fumble. The Bond looks to kick it through, no advantage coming.
Another really good defensive set.
It's a really good defensive set. And Reece Malone will be disappointed with that one. If he'd been able to keep his hands on the ball, there was an opportunity for Loughborough. Now they're needing to make a change in the front row. Playing with a man down, Bryn Davis comes back on. Although Bryn Davis is off, rather, I apologise. Callum Smith has come back on, so Loughborough having to sacrifice a player. An opportunity then to scrum against 7 for the University. An interesting setup here. There's space in front of him. Josh Barson's eyes, you'd expect, are going to be lighting up here if the ball comes to his hands. The pack, though, at the moment, looking to drive, looking to get the push on, which they have done. Brilliant work.
Great drive.
You can see the celebration from Will Yarnell. Josh Barson might not have got his hands on the ball, but he's the first man in there applauding his pack.
That's always the risk when you choose not to match numbers in the scrum. Quite often you'll see teams put a centre on the flank or something like that to match the numbers to stop that happening. But then again, if you put a number in, you lose one out wide. So,
and especially with that attacking prowess out wide, which we've already seen from Exeter, that's a much better touch finder from Barson. He'll be so much happier with that one, and a real confidence booster for him as well. More than to throw in. I said Barson's eyes were lighting up beforehand. If he gets the ball in his hands this time, they're really good again. Commentators curse though, the pack have got a real taste for this now. Want to get more names on the score sheet, they drive, but Yarnell to Hitchcock. Hitchcock crashes into Titcombe and Lewis. Yarnell there quickly, there's space, there's McCaig. He's fizzed it wide. Brilliant, brilliant pick-up by Relton. Exeter, maybe that pass didn't need to go as early as it did. And Loughborough then with a huge tackle pushing them back. But they're in possession. They're where they need to be. And they're building the phases now. To carry there from Hallam. And there is Barson. There's McCaig. Shows, goes, breaks free. But unfortunately for Exeter there, crossing, getting in the way there. Finn Richardson as McCaig looked to cut back inside.
that could always be an issue when you're coming down quite a tight channel like that, opting to go out the back, running out of space, across with your own players.
It was a really good attacking set up until that point for Exeter. Just not quite going the way they needed to at the end there. And Loughborough then back in the Exeter half now. 5 points down, back with the opportunity. And a change for them at scrum half as well. Tom Miles, his work is done for the day. He's been a live wire for them. Ewan Bergwin onto the pitch. White then almost gets his hand to the ball. Loughborough do well though, and Titcombe looks to release in midfield, and he again then Loughborough, that's a really clever kick in behind there. Nathan Pope, that's a really good use of the space there, a really good use of that breeze as well, and playing with that man down still puts Exeter under the cosh and means Loughborough can now have a free hit, if you like, to see if they can get their hands on the ball at this line out.
Yeah, absolutely, that's great management. I mean, that's a great decision, like you say, A, with the clock where it is, B, being a man down, spending time in their 22, that's exactly where you want to be.
More than to throw in after those couple of slightly wonky throws at the start of this half. He's back onto the form that we've seen all season from him. And Exeter then just mauling this, happy to keep it tight, happy to see if they can win a penalty, and they do. You talk about good game management there from Loughborough, and it was, but that's really good game management from Exeter as well. Just knowing how to play the game and trusting that Loughborough will get a little bit too keen to try and get their hands on the ball. Barson then, good clearance again from the fly half. We're into the final 10 minutes. I have to say, it's gone incredibly quickly. It's been a really, really good match so far. Two teams going at it, hammer and tong.
Absolutely, been all action.
Definitely been all action, and exactly what you'd expect from second versus third in the league. Hallam then gets his hands on the ball. Loughborough looking to make a menace of themselves, but he manages to come away with it. And Exeter then setting themselves for the box kick. It's perfectly judged by Yarnell, just outside the 22, and a great chase there from Exeter. Loughborough are going to have to go from deep if they want this. It's Bloomer with the carry. And Bergwijn then had enough of that. Boot to ball coming up then from the Loughborough scrum half. Almost the huge frame there. Arthur Thomas was able to charge him down, but not quite. There's an opportunity now for Exeter. They've managed to get it wide. What can they do here? Jordan Bond cuts back inside, and he's broken through. Bond, brilliant carry from the wing. He needs his support now, though. Needs that support, and he's done well. Yarnell gets the ball away quickly. Barson looks to fizz it to Dan John. Dan John, he's broken the first tackle. Dan John's going. Dan John's into the 22. Superb tackle. Exeter, though, still building. Charlie McCaig now at first receiver. He carries hard. Latham Pope there with the tackle, and it's a penalty for Loughborough. And again, Exeter getting the crowd off their feet, getting excited, getting the ball into those attacking positions, and then the supporting players just not quite getting there quickly enough. But some initial break from Dan John, they'd start it off, and then Jordan Bond, that little break in midfield there. You said it, you've played with Bondy, that's what he brings to the team. Absolutely.
I think that's tough on that last one. McCabe with a great carry, but the carry was almost too good that he lost his clearers. So they ended up having to come in from the side and ultimately giving away the penalty.
We're just taking a stoppage in play here. Loughborough physios on the pitch.
I'm tired just watching.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's been fast, it's been ferocious. And these final 10 minutes is where the lactic acid builds in. This is where the legs start to burn, and it becomes about the mind more than the body. How much do you want it? How much can you keep in the game? And Cameron Bullard then warming up below us, soon to enter the action for Exeter. Time still off. Titcombe is ready to kick this one into touch. He doesn't want to wait around once the referee's whistle goes. And we're all good to go again then. Referee just making sure that all the Loughborough players are on side, and Titcombe will send this one into touch. And there is Cameron Bullard then coming on for Luke Brailsford. Another really positive, industrious showing from Brailsford. And Loughborough then closing in on the Exeter half. And they do well to get that ball there under pressure at the line out, and they're looking to maul, they're looking to draw a penalty. You can see the ball at the back there. It's in the hands of Joe Plunkett, and he carries himself in the end. And Bergwijn is there to feed it out to Monday. He feeds it on quickly under pressure from Thomas. Hallam with the tackle. Loughborough now just inside the Exeter half. Great tackle there from Moore on Leatherbarrow. And again, Loughborough are going to put boot to ball here. Pressure on this chase then. George Barber on his bike. Jordan Bond takes it in the air. Good take from the wing. And a penalty for Exeter. Not rolling away there, Loughborough, and in at the side as well. 2 penalties there for the referee to choose from. And Barton can look to find touch again here. It's becoming tight now in these final 4 or 5 minutes. You'd expect it with how close the scoreline is, but it's tight, it's cagey. Neither side wants to give an inch. Nobody wants to make a mistake.
It's edgy, isn't it?
It's really edgy. That carnival atmosphere that you could hear below us, it's still there, but there's nerves in the stand now. There's tension on the pitch. Superb take at the back though from Hallam, and White again is the man to feed the ball out to Addison. He is stopped in his tracks though. Great tackle there from Loughborough. They do well then to make sure they stay onside, and then a good drive from Hallam. And you can hear that roar from the crowd now. They're trying to cheer their side on. They're trying to edge them to victory. Bond goes for the chase. Perfect box kick just outside of the Loughborough 22. It's a good chase and a good tackle. Titcombe then
Great split.
hammers that one down the field. He's seen space. It's a great kick from Titcombe. And John has to go
Straight up those yards.
back. We know what Dan John's going to do. He's going to run it. He's going to feed it to Relton. Exeter have got to get the numbers there. They do. Good work there. Loughborough were all over that ball. That's a crucial intervention there.
As we discussed with Barton coming on, you know the difference that he can bring. But I've actually been really impressed in how pragmatic we've been.
It's been really good. It's been really good game management so far, like you said as well, in terms of just biding the time, taking the opportunities. A good kick there, but a silly penalty at the breakdown for Exeter, not releasing after a really good box kick. And there's a Loughborough player down again on that far side, cramping, and an Exeter player cramping as well. Final few minutes of the game now, and like we keep saying, that intensity really starting to take hold. Loughborough back up to the full complement as well. Bryn Davis back onto the field. A good touch finder there from Titcombe. Or so to go here at Sandy Park. Crucial messages then going in from the Loughborough pack again. It's an attacking opportunity for them. It's a strong opportunity for them. And a change as well before the line out. Toby Adlington coming on to the pitch.
Supporters club in full swing.
They really are down there now, trying to roar Exeter on. And those changes then for Loughborough, with Bryn Davis back on. Callum Smith will be coming back off, and David Douglas-Bridge is the man who's come off for Toby Adlington. He's been superb for Loughborough today. He's been everywhere. He's been industrious around the breakdown. Really, really hard working performance from the second row.
He's been outstanding, isn't he? A lot of grunt work.
A lot of grunt work, but those important metres, those important yards for Loughborough. And popping up at first receiver a couple of times as well, shows he fancies his handling. Strong line out from Loughborough, well done. There's Leatherbarrow. Leatherbarrow releases Barber out wide. There is an opportunity here for Loughborough. They're still going down this short side. They're into the Exeter 22. Bergwijn with the ball out. Fitzgerald comes in field, searching for the ball, searching for work.
The threat that Leatherbarrow brings, you saw them bite in on him there.
He really does. He draws players every single time he gets the ball. And Loughborough are still looking, are still probing. Exeter don't want to give up a penalty, can't give up a penalty. And Titcombe then just looking to marshal his troops around the park. Looking for that opening, looking for that space. Leatherbarrow again, you can see, great tackle on him. But you can see the nerves every time he gets the ball. As Titcombe then out to Adlington, his first touch. And Loughborough again coming down this near side. Monday there perhaps got in the way a little bit of Titcombe. Milo Hallam there, superb tackle from the second row, but Loughborough still have the ball. Joe Plunkett, another huge tackle from Exeter. Loughborough are going backwards here, but there's still openings potentially, there's still space as Reece Malone searches for a little fend, a little show and go, doesn't quite make it. Titcombe then does the same himself. Loughborough then making up those metres that they lost. Bryn Davis, good carry from him. Exeter do well to stop him. It's a loopy, messed up pass there from Bergwijn, but Loughborough do well holding on to the ball. Adlington again gets his hands on the ball. There is space now though, there's Pope. Chooses not to use Monday on his outside, he's shunted backwards.
How good has Tom Hitchcock been today?
Tom Hitchcock in defence especially has been absolutely sublime. Well, I tell you what, that is some carry there from Loughborough, and there's a little bit of space for Loughborough that he's spotted. He's broken into the extra half again now. We're in the final moments of the game. The clock says 80 on your screen. Remember though, we are going by the referee's whistle. I've got a clock here with me that says 30 seconds or so still to go. A little chip through tried there. Jared Williams now down for Exeter as well, so they're down to 14. And Loughborough know that they can't kick the ball away. Exeter know they have to defend for their lives. Williams back up into the defensive line. Bryn Davis with the carry again. And what do Loughborough do here? They're going back the other way. Plunkett releases Adlington. He's got his hands on the ball a lot since he's come onto the field. And Exeter then defending narrow. There's space out there for Loughborough. And they've fed the ball inside. Where's that ball gone? It's gone into touch. Is that it? The referee looks at his watch.
Looks like there's still time for
There's
the scrum.
still time. The crowd thought that was it. And it's time off for Exeter. Harvey Dunn is ready down below us to come on. There can't be long left in this game now. And Exeter then, the pressure is on the set piece. Time off. There's battered bodies there on the field. And Exeter then, it looks like they will be making that change for the final few minutes. And it's Harvey Dunn coming on for Jared Williams. He can't stay on the pitch after that knock in that earlier defensive set. Considering how early he came onto the field for Jacob Morris, it's a really, really good shift from Jared today. Really brought the fire in defence, especially around those fringes.
Absolutely, and ultimately that's where he hurt himself on that last one. A massive shot. You know, there were 3 or 4 there which pushed Loughborough back a good 20 metres in that last defensive set. So yeah, he's massive shift from him. Putting
his body on the line. Exeter then have got the ball. The referee's arm is up. Contact in the air. Perhaps. But they're looking to maul it. Looking to keep it tight. Looking to wind the clock down. And that is it. And it's Tom Anderson-Atley who kicks it into touch. And it's full time here at Sandy Park. Exeter secure varsity bragging rights. 26-21, a crucial bonus point win. It keeps the pressure up on Durham at the top of the table. It secures them a top 2 finish in the league. But I have to say, Baz, that was everything you'd want from a varsity clash and so much more.
Yeah, it was outstanding. It had everything, didn't it? I think Exeter will be really happy. That was such a complete performance. Defensively, I thought they were outstanding. I think to see it out at the end, the game management they showed, I thought was phenomenal. Yeah, they'll enjoy tonight.
They'll definitely enjoy tonight. A word for Loughborough as well. fantastic game of rugby, came into it, took the lead with 20 minutes to go. Teddy Leatherbarrow, huge impact off the bench for them. Exactly what you'd expect from a player of his calibre.
Yeah, absolutely. He bought it, didn't he? There was a massive lift when he came on, but credit to the whole bench. We discussed the 6-2 split. Ultimately, you know, it wasn't enough, and it wasn't the difference on the day. But I think every single one of the subs that came on for Loughborough were outstanding, and like the standard rose. Honestly, it's so loud.
It's so loud, I can barely hear myself. Sweet Caroline being bellowed out below us. I can barely hear myself. I can barely hear you either, Baz. But what an occasion, what a spectacle. And the difficult question then, I should have teed you up on this one really, but who's your unofficial player of the match?
Unofficial man of the match? God, there's a few. I thought Luke Brulsford was outstanding. Got through a lot of unseen work, hit an unbelievable number of breakdowns. I thought Alec Lloyd-Seed, I thought he kicked really well. I thought he, like ball in hand, I thought he was outstanding. Made a lot of tackles as well for a 10. But for me, I think it's Tom Hitchcock. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. Both sides of the ball, he was abrasive, ball in hand, and he was an absolute brick wall with defence. So my unofficial man of the match, Tom Hitchcock.
Tom Hitchcock then is the name that Harry Bazalgette has singled out here. And the crowd still in fine voice below us, but despite the rivalry, and it is a huge rivalry between Exeter and Loughborough, a mark of respect for Loughborough as well. Both teams on the pitch today gave it absolutely everything. An unbelievable game of BUCS Super Rugby, and we touched on it in the pre-show about the league really being a shop window, and a game like this shows all that is good about this league and why we love university rugby.
Yeah, like I said a minute ago, like it had everything. There was sort of the flair and everything that you associate with BUCS Super Rugby, the expansive stuff, but also the grunty, not so flashy, but really important aspects of game management. I thought up front, 2 penalty tries from a dominant set piece. It had absolutely everything. I think that was a really complete performance.
As Baz said, it had every single ingredient you'd want, and it was an unbelievable occasion. Thank you ever so much for joining us tonight. For post-match reaction, make sure to subscribe to EURFC Media on YouTube, and make sure to follow the club EURFC on Facebook and Instagram, Exeter Uni RFC on Twitter for all the post-match reaction and the highlights from this one as well. An absolute classic here at Sandy Park, a game for the ages. Baz, thank you ever so much for joining us. A bit of a different experience for you watching it from up here rather than being on the field in your uni days. But there you go, you can see the Exeter players celebrating below us there, and they deserve that for an unbelievable performance. Next week then, Exeter are back at home against Hartpury. That's going to be another huge clash. Loughborough then still right in the mix, right in that battle with Cardiff Met for 3rd and 4th in the league. Thank you ever so much for joining us, and we'll see you again for the next one.